Hi, we are back in this war of mine after a long break. So we've got this relatively new DLC here called Forget Celebrations. So we're going to have a crack at this today. So I'm just going to skip the intro here. I'm going to press and hold escape. But the story is basically that we've got Katya as one of the house members. We've got 3 house members, Katya is one of them. She got hit by a missile and has got injured. And she's writing a book, and she has these book fragments that are scattered around the map. So we have to run around all of the locations outside the house and find all of the book fragments so that she can finish her book. And we've got about 36 days to do this. We do get an opt-out about halfway through, but we'll come to that later because that comes at a price, shall we say. Alright, so this is the house. So it's an unfamiliar one, and these are the characters. So here's Katya, who, as we can see, she's got a little bit battered. She got hit by a missile. And so her skill is that she is good at trading. So whenever we get a trading opportunity, she gets better prices. So she can sell for more and buy more cheaply. Now, Pavel, he's a good runner, so normally that's relatively a limited benefit. It kind of helps with bigger locations, so it's not a great to have, but it's not a bad to have. And we've got Marin. Now he is a craftsman, so he gets to build things using less materials than other players. So that's a really great benefit that he's got. So it's a pretty good team because you got the trading on her part, you got the building on his part, and he can run around places a bit faster than normal. He's got a backpack of 12, as does she. He only has a backpack of 10, so he won't be leaving the house at all. She'll be leaving the house sometimes if we've got outside trading opportunities, but it's generally going to be Pavla. I think that's the correct pronunciation of his name. I keep calling him Pavel, but you probably hear both pronunciations right this playthrough. But anyway, Pavla, I believe, is the correct pronunciation. Alright, so let's get going. Escape. Alright, so we are in this house, which is unfamiliar, but we've got plenty of time to finish this today, because there isn't a great deal to do. So we're going to get Katya digging down here first. I'm going to get Pavla up here. We should really use him to run around, given he's faster. But seeing as it's not a very large house, or rather there isn't a great deal to do, I'm just going to use Marin for now, because we want him building very shortly. And he immediately went the wrong way, so want him there, we want to bring him down. And we want him to pass that way. Get up to that door there and block that. So in the meantime, Marin, get to this pile. So I think Marin's got enough. We've been gifted this workbench here, so the first thing that we want Marin to do is go to that workbench. Just get Pavel to open up this box first. And then we can get him digging and forget about him for a little while. No, we want him down here. Alright, so let's get Marin at the workbench that we got gifted, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to make this thing here, which is a metal workshop. So let's get that in place. As mentioned before, we get him to build everything, because it's a little bit cheaper when he does it. Now she's finished down there. Now this is a chair, which we can ignore. So there's the first book fragment that we found. So if we go into this icon here, book materials. So here are the 10 book fragments that we need to find around the map. Now this one we were gifted inside the house, and it's a fictitious one from Pogorn itself. But it tells the story that she found her uncle signing off on getting civilians killed. And then a missile hit my house 2 days later, nearly killing me. My parents were less fortunate, so they presumably died. Now these 10 book fragments here are actually real stories from real wars, like Sudan and Ukraine, but we'll see that later again. Alright, well, let's keep Katia busy. Should we just get her to unlock that there? So Pablo's still busy up there. Okay, so now we've got the metal desk up. What we want Marin to be doing is we want him to build a crowbar. So we've got these boxes here which we can open with, actually let's just get her digging so we forget about her. We've got 2 boxes in the house here which we can open with lockpicks that we found. That icon there tells us that we can use a lockpick on it. But we want to keep the lockpicks. So what we're going to do is build a crowbar and use that. And the good thing about a crowbar is it counts as a weapon in the house as well. So when it comes to house security a little bit later on, that is of some use. So it's worth making. So now this other icon opens up here, which tells us we can now open this with a crowbar, which we will now do. Alright, so in the meantime, Marin, we've got one other thing that we want to build on the first day, and that is a bed. Because we're going to want people to start sleeping at night. So I'm going to put that down there. Now he can actually go over the top. That was Pablo up there. Just get him to unlock that. He can actually run over the top here and get to all of the piles here if we really wanted to. We don't have to dig any of these actually to get access to any of the piles. Alright, so the bed's getting made. As far as who can build the bed, anybody can. As long as Marin is actually the one at the machine and actually placing it, then we get his price. And then anybody else can go there and complete anything that he places. Alright, so let's get her to open that. Now he should be finished. We'll get a digging there. He'll be finished by the end of the day. I think it's just 2 hours, so 5 PM he'll be finished. He can pick up this last pile here. Alright, so we just got this one here, then Katia can jump up and get this one as well. But meantime, if we just look at Katia, she's slightly wounded. So we got a choice here. We can bandage her up or just leave her as is. And sometimes she'll get better, sometimes she'll get worse. Now if she gets worse, then we'll end up using more meds. So the safe option is to bandage her up. Don't have to, you could just gamble, but it's not going to be that difficult keeping up with meds, so I think best to bandage her. Alright, I'm just going to get Marin over to the workbench while she picks up the last pile there. Yeah, you find that Katia gets randomly wounded about every 8 days for no good reason. It's not linked to raids, house raids or anything, it's just done every 8 days or so. We'll start the day and Katia will have slight wounding and need a bandage, but anyway, it's not that difficult to keep up with the requirements. So we are almost at the end of the first day. I'm just going to get her digging there. So what you should find, we haven't opened this box yet, but what you should find now, the next thing that we want to do is upgrade the workbench here, and you should find that we are 3 components short here, and that once we upgrade this, we'll have 8 wood left over. Because what we want to do is we want to get house security in. Because the thing about house security, we get a crime spree coming as early as day 6. And if we don't have adequate security in the house, 2 things can happen. Firstly, you can either get things stolen. And if you get things stolen, it tends to be stuff that you really don't want to lose, like meds or food. But you can also get injuries, and every time you get an injury it costs you another bandage, etc. So house security is something that you really need to prioritize just to avoid those 2 things happening, and it's not that difficult to do. So what we're going to do is upgrade this on day 2. So we need 3 components to do that, and that's going to leave us 8 wood. Now we're allowed 3 boards after that, which we can board up windows, and each of those boards costs, with Marin making it, that is, it's 2 components and it's 8 wood. So once this is upgraded, we're going to be having 8 wood left over. So that will be the first board, but we're going to need another 2 lots of 8 wood for the second and the third boards. So that's a total of 8 stacks of wood that we need to get 3 boards in. Now components, we need 3 to get this upgraded, as we can see. But on top of that, each board is 2. So we're going to need another 6 components on top of these 3, a total of 9. Now as they come in stacks of 4, that's going to be 3 stacks of components tonight and 8 stacks of wood, and then we can get 3 boards in today, or rather tomorrow. So that's the goal. So meantime, there's really nothing more to do in the house. We've got our bed in place, we've got our metal desk up, we've got a crowbar which will count as a weapon when we get raided. Alright, he can open this final box. She can finish that tonight. She's bandaged up. Done. Okay, 6:40 and we're finished. As mentioned, we have plenty of time today. Alright, so we can actually end the day there. The day ends at 8 PM. But there's nothing more to do, so let's end it there. And this is where we get to see what map we've got. Now, there are 6 standard maps, and you could get dealt any one of those maps. Now, we've got this one, which is okay. There's one map which is, I think, is considerably easier than all of the others. It's one with the bakery in, but this isn't that one. So this is one of the, I guess, average ones. So we've got 3 locations here anyway. We've got the Decrepit squat. So we've got the semi-detached house first. Now that one requires 2 saw blades to get round. That's the Bazina one, and we don't have saw blades right now, so this is a no-no on the first day. So we've got a choice of this one or this one. Now neither of these have any danger. This one, the problem with the Decrepit squat is you don't get any tradables there. You don't pick up any meds or anything like that. And we've got a trader coming to the house possibly as early as day 3. It's usually going to be day 3 or 5, possibly day 6, not day 4, because something else happens on day 4, as we'll see. This one does give you some meds and some tradables, but as we saw, we only want, Pavla's got a backpack of 12, and we want 3 stacks of components and 8 stacks of wood, so that pretty much takes up his whole backpack. So we don't really want tradables anyway, so that really means the Decrepit squat's probably the one to go today. Alright, so let's go there. There's no danger, so and we've got possible book materials as well. So anyway, as far as preparation is concerned, there is a saw blade requirement there, but we don't have one of those. And there's also a lockpick requirement. We don't want to use the lockpick today, but we'll be able to get everything that we want from there without taking a lockpick or a saw blade. But one thing we do want to do, there's an opportunity for a morale boost. There's a starving guy there. If we give him some food, we'll get a morale boost out of that, and he gives us some trinkets in return as well. So we're going to take a piece of meat for that reason. Alright, nothing else to take. As I said, we don't want to use the lockpick today, so let's go. Alright, as mentioned, there's no risk or danger here, so this is just a runaround one. So it's just picking up all the materials and putting them into one place, just so that at the end of the evening, before we go home, we can decide what we want to take. So as we can see, a ton of materials here. So I'm going to dump everything into here, which is relatively central. Remember, we want to keep that meat on us, of course. So it's shift and right mouse click, and it moves the whole stack there. Alright, let's go over the top here. You can't get through there because the door needs to be forced. If you come up to the top here, there's the saw blade requirement. Now this is one of the changes that normally we would never go in here, because the cost of a saw blade, the stuff you get behind here is rarely worth it, but compared to the cost of the saw blade to get in there. So it's something I never ever do, but because there could be book fragments back here, it means that we're going to have to come back here and with a saw blade at some point and look back there, see if there's because otherwise if you miss a book fragment there, you end up not finding all of them. Sorry, we wanted to pick that up there while we're there. So there are some slight changes to gameplay as a result of having to look everywhere. Kind of forces us to go some places we wouldn't normally go. And it's pretty random where they are, but it's not like... So these icons here with magnifying glass, sometimes they open up secret stashes. These don't here. It's just information only. That one too. But sometimes it's worth clicking on because sometimes they open something up somewhere. Oh, we're already full. Okay. Alright, this is where we meet the guy, and he gives us the normal kind of trading icon here. So you just open that up, and here's our things. He doesn't have anything to give us, so we just give him that piece of meat. And deal. He says, thank you very much, and he goes to open up a secret stash down here somewhere. But he's slow, and we don't have to wait for him. So this is the door that we needed to force. This is why we couldn't get through this way before. So he's off on his way down here right now. And that's our centralized stash there where we can be putting everything. I think we can jump up there. Oh, we can go up the ladder, okay. So while he's doing his thing there, we're just going to keep running around and consolidate everything into this one pile here. So we did that floor there, but for the saw-bladed place. So that's that floor done. So there's nothing outside. Just check. Nope. So here's the lockpick requirement, which we'll come to later. Again, there could be a book. Try that again. There could be a book fragment in there. So again, it's not something I usually come back for, because what you get out of here is hardly worth it in terms of the cost of the lockpick. So sometimes I just skip it, but we can't this time because there might be the book fragment in there, just like there might be a book fragment behind the saw blade requirement up there. So that's really the only change to gameplay, and that you have to pretty much look everywhere, go to some locations you might normally skip, but also go to places within those locations that you don't normally go into. So we're going to be coming up on the stash that he just gave us soon. Just going to put this upstairs first, and then we're done with this location. It's just a question of what we want to take home. So this is what he gave us in return for that piece of meat. So the bottled booze here, we can use that to make a med later on, so that's of most value. The diamond, not so much. It's not really worth a great deal in trade. And they stack to 4. Given that we've only got 1, it's unlikely we'll be using up the pocket space to do that. Take it home, that is. Alright, so we now got everything into this one pile here. And just a question of what we want to take home. So, as we saw, we want 3 stacks of components. There's 1, 2, 3. Again, shift right mouse click for the whole stack. And we wanted 8 wood. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, leaving 1 pocket left over. So, choices. We got parts, and we are going to have a need for parts relatively soon, so I'm going to take a stack of those. The other option would be sugar, maybe, for trade, because we're not going to be making any booze in the game. We could take this, but we're not going to be making meds till later in the game, and this we're going to have to come back for at some point, because you need this for some of the higher end items to make, and it's unlikely we'll take the diamonds, so that's why we're going to take all this. Okay, 4 pockets, so run to exit, see you at home. Gonna win the episode there because I spent a little bit more time than we normally would do on first day, and hope to see you in the next episode, and we'll try to get in days 2 and 3 and take it from there. So thanks for watching. Bye.